We're going to do a video a bit different than what I usually do. Today, I'm going to talk about a more personal story and why the Chicago Bears versus Carolina Panthers is the absolute worst matchup in all of sports for me. And I just want to go through the story and everything and tell you why this matchup that is this weekend, this October the 18th, Sunday, 1 o'clock game, is my least favorite matchup in all of sports. You could take any sport. You could take NFL, college, MLB, NHL, NBA, soccer, even though I don't watch soccer. Nothing to me is worse than this matchup right here, and I'm going to tell you why. So I got to go into a bit of a background. Basically, why I hate this matchup so much is because I love both of these teams. I'd say I'm a diehard Bears fan, and I'm also a really, really big Panthers fan. Like, I'm definitely a bigger Panthers fan than the average fan. Like, I follow this team. I watch a ton of their games. I know all the players and everything. The stats and everything. I follow the record. I follow what's going on in the division and everything. All their transactions. So this is why this game is so tough for me. Now I'm going to tell you why I fell in love with each of these teams. So first off, the Bears, who are my favorite NFL team. I classify them as my favorite NFL team. Back in 2010, I'm from Toronto. If you don't know that, I'm from Toronto, Canada. So we don't have an NFL team up here. But back in 2010, the Buffalo Bills used to do something every year called Bills in Toronto, where they go and play a game at the Rogers Center. If you don't know what the Rogers Center is, that's where the Toronto Blue Jays play. They turn it into a football field, and we also had our CFL team back in the day. Our CFL team named the Toronto Argonauts used to play there. Now they moved to BMO Field, which is where like our soccer team plays. The Bills would come and play in Rogers Center for one game every season, and it'd always be a sellout and everything. And my uncle got us VIP tickets for free. It was amazing. 2010, so I got to see guys like Brian Urlacher was on that team. Jay Cutler was the quarterback, I'm pretty sure. Greg Olson was our tight end that season. Brandon Marshall was there. Devin Hester was there. Matt Forte. So you got like all the guys like that, the like old 2010 Bears teams who actually were a pretty good team. So it was fun to see them play. They were playing the Buffalo Bills, obviously. And back then, when I was first a kid, I've loved football all my life. Like, I've been watching football ever since I was like 3 years old. And in Canada, not too many people are like love football as much as they do down south. If you are from the States, I'm referring to you there. And so I just love football, and I never like the Bills were the closest team to us, but I never really fell in love with the Bills, and like they weren't a team that I wanted to cheer for. Back when I first started watching football, I'd say that the Dolphins were my favorite team. I liked the Dolphins. It was basically because of their logo and their colors and everything. I didn't really know anything about the team. I'm like 5 years old or whatever. So this is my first NFL game, and I'd say I was a Dolphins fan going into that game. And since I was a Dolphins fan, quote unquote, I did not like the Bills because I knew that they were in our division, and I just didn't like them. So naturally, I just started cheering for the Bears in that game. And then after that game, they won. They won 22-19. I remember the game ended on an interception. I forget who the interception was by, but I do remember Greg Olson caught like 2 touchdowns in that game or something, or maybe it was just one, but it was a good game. Bears won, and after that, I started really liking the Bears after that game because they were the first team I ever saw. And I'd never seen the Dolphins, so I wanted to be able to say I saw the team. And then later that year for Christmas, my parents got me a Brian Urlacher jersey. So after that point, that's when I really started to become a Bears fan all in all, because I had the jersey and everything. I'd actually seen them play, and I really like what I saw, and I love their colors. I love that they're from Chicago. My favorite teams at the time are also the Chicago Bulls and Chicago Blackhawks in basketball and hockey. Nothing to do with the city of Chicago. They were just my favorite teams. I'll have to get into another story time of that later, but I became a Bears fan. So that's how I became a Bears fan, and ever since 2010 or whatever, I've been a really big Bears fan. The last time, before the double doink, the last time the Bears had ever made a playoff game was on my birthday against the Packers in that division series, or not division series, what am I talking, baseball? It was the NFC Championship game, and they lost. That was the last playoff game that they ever played before the whole double doink game, and obviously that wasn't fun. So hopefully we make it back last year. But now to how I'm a Panthers fan. My family owns a timeshare in Hilton Head Island, South Carolina, so we're constantly traveling down there a lot. But it doesn't even start there. The first time I had ever been to South Carolina, or the Carolinas in general, was we went to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And I'm a little kid still. Like, I'm still like 4 years old in this, when we went there for the first time. So we're on a boardwalk, I remember, in Myrtle Beach or something. And there's this like Build-A-Bear factory. Like, you know what Build-A-Bear is? It's where you go in and you fill up the, you get like a animal or stuffed animal or whatever, you fill it up and then you give it like an outfit or whatever. I was into that back then. I really like stuffed animals. So I go in, I pick out like a bear or something, and the shelf where they have all the outfits, they have like little football uniforms for your character or whatever. So I thought that was like the greatest thing ever. I don't think that they had the bears. So that's why I looked for whatever uniform I thought was the coolest, and I was instantly drawn to the black and Carolina blue from the Carolina Panthers. I thought their logo was amazing. I thought the helmet was amazing for that. So I got that uniform for my little stuffed animal or whatever, and I kept that. And then after that, I started to become a Panthers fan too. I started really watching them. I loved Cam Newton when he was on the Panthers. So watching him there, I really fell in love with the team there. And then obviously going on past that point, they started becoming a lot better. They made the playoffs. They started making the playoffs. They made the Super Bowl 50. Awful game. I don't even want to talk about it, but it was fun to watch one of my favorite teams in the Super Bowl. So that's how I became a Panthers fan, and I've constantly been going back down to South Carolina. Like, I go every year still. I went to my first Panthers game ever in 2018, not actually in Carolina. I passed Bank of America Stadium all the time driving to South Carolina, but I've never actually been to a game there. My first game ever was me and my friends did a sports road trip around like Lake Erie. We went to Pistons basketball game. We went to a Michigan versus South Carolina basketball game. Then on the Sunday, we went to Cleveland to go see the Panthers and Browns. So that was my first time ever seeing the Panthers. We lost. McCaffrey had like 2 touchdowns. Cam Newton didn't play a very good game. We had some shaky throws at the end that cost us the game. Somehow we lost to the Browns in Baker Mayfield's rookie season, but it was still fun to go see my Panthers play. There's nothing I love more than being at a football game. So only good memories taken away from that game, 100%, even though the Panthers lost. So those are my stories on why I like both of these teams. And both of these teams going up against each other is my worst nightmare ever. Like, if these teams ever meet in the NFC Championship game, I don't even know if I'll be able to watch the game, to be honest. Like, I love both of these teams so much that it would kill me to see one of these teams lose, and I have to cheer for one. And this game is coming up on Sunday. Now, it is just a regular season game, but both of these teams are coming in playing some pretty good football. The Bears are 4-1 right now, and the Panthers are on a 3-game win streak, and they're 3-2. A team that was looking to be tanking this season and hopefully getting a new quarterback, maybe like a Justin Fields or Trey Lance. But we're actually looking. The NFC South is not as strong as we thought they were going to be this year. Falcons suck. They suck. No question about that. The Bears just beat the Buccaneers. They're definitely a beatable team. And the Chargers were just almost beat the Saints. The Saints are not a complete team either. So there are still lots and lots of games left to be played. And definitely if the Panthers offense keeps playing like this and the defense is starting to take a step in the right direction, the Panthers could be looking at a playoff spot soon. So there are pretty big implications on this game. I know it's an early regular season game, but the Panthers could move it to 4-2 and the Bears could move it to 5-1 with a win. Those would be huge wins for each team. So watching this game is going to kill me, but the Bears are my favorite team. The Bears have been my favorite team for so long, and sadly, I'm going to have to cheer for someone, and it's not fair. If you're a fan of a team, it's okay to have secondary teams, in my opinion. Like, I'm okay with having other secondary teams that I like cheering for, but you can never cheer for that secondary team over your favorite team. That's just not how it works. You have to stay loyal to that team, no matter if they're the crappier team or the better team in that situation. You have to cheer for your favorite team, and my favorite team is the Chicago Bears. So this weekend, on October 18th, even though it's going to be tough, I am going to be putting my Carolina Panthers hat and jersey aside, and I'm going to be proudly wearing my navy and orange this weekend, my Khalil Mack jersey, and cheering on the Chicago Bears. I'm still going to make a post-game show for the Bears. I haven't made a Panthers one yet. I just don't feel like they're in high enough demand and everything, and I watch all the Bears games and everything all in all, so I do the Bears, but it's going to be a really rough game for me to watch. The only other matchup, this isn't even close to what would kill me to the extent of this game. The only other matchup that would like really kind of boggle with my mind a bit is the Chicago Blackhawks and Toronto Maple Leafs. Like, I am a huge Blackhawks fan, and I do like cheering for the Maple Leafs because I am from Toronto, but it's not even close. Like, I cheer for the Blackhawks in a heartbeat. But like, it's hockey still. Like, I don't care about hockey as much as I do football. I still love watching hockey and everything. I'm Canadian, I have to, and the Blackhawks are my team, but it's not football. It's not football, and if you're watching this, you probably love football as much as I do. So before I even continue this, if you love football as much as I do, please do me a favor and hit that sub button down below. It's just so different, and it's going to be really rough for me to watch. Now, just going through a little bit of a preview for this game this week. The Panthers are on a 3-game win streak after we just beat the Falcons last week. They beat the Chargers and the Cardinals the 2 weeks before after losing to Vegas and Tampa Bay. But ever since McCaffrey's gone down, Mike Davis, man, I'm a Gamecocks fan. I know what he put up at South Carolina and everything. And seeing him fill in for Christian McCaffrey, he has done more than everyone expected. He has been a huge surprise, but it's not really even a surprise to me. I knew Mike Davis was a good player. He played on Chicago last year. We didn't really give him the chances that he deserved because we had Montgomery and Cohen there. He also was on Seattle before that, and I think he got drafted by the 49ers, so he's been a bunch of places. But this guy can flat out play, no question about it. So he's been really fun to watch on the Panthers. Teddy Bridgewater, I like what I'm seeing from him so far. He's thrown 6 TDs for 3 interceptions. So you'd like to have that touchdown to interception ratio a bit better, but it is what it is. He's winning football games. He's won his last 3 in a row. Robbie Anderson, the Panthers receiving core is very, very underrated. You have Robinson, you have DJ Moore, you have Curtis Samuel. You have Farrell Cooper out there now. I love watching him play, another Gamecock. Ian Thomas and Manhurts at tight end. This is a very underrated receiving core, hands down about that. And the defense is starting to make improvements. You have Dante Jackson leading with 2 interceptions, Jeremy Chin leading with 44 tackles. But they've played a lot better. I love our young defensive line led by like Brian Burns and Derek Brown. Those are our 2 future guys. I love watching them play. Brian Burns is a great player. He's going to be an elite pass rusher, no doubt about it in my mind. And then you got also young guys like Yetur Gross-Matos. I know he hasn't played as much as we'd like him to, but he's still got a sack under his belt already. It's great to see young guys like that get in, and I'm really excited for this team. I'm really excited for the future of this team. If we just grow this defense and Teddy Bridgewater keeps playing and hopefully lead us to a playoff spot, I'm liking what I see from the Panthers. The Bears, on the other hand, defense, it's good. I don't want to say it's elite yet because there have been holes in the defense recently. But if you look at our corners, like Kyle Fuller and Jalen Johnson are the 2, they have the least completion percentage out of all the NFL. To both of those guys, they're 1 and 2. So that's very good. Our tackling has been struggling on defense. Roquan Smith missed some big tackles against Tampa Bay, but he's still leading the team with 40 tackles. We'd like to see a bit more interceptions out of the team. Our leading guy is Gibson, and he only has 1. Offensive-wise, it's a big struggle right now. We know that. We just got to we're doing enough to win games, but when we start playing really good teams, we're going to need to step it up on offense. I like that we have Nick Foles in now. He's thrown 680 yards already. David Montgomery, a very underrated running back. I like what we see from him when we get the ball in our hands. I just like some more protection from the offensive line and more push to get him some more holes to rush in. And I think the Bears are going to sign Le'Veon Bell. I really do. He just got released by the Jets, so I'm liking what I see there. And Allen Robinson, the leading receiver, 421 yards, my favorite player on the Bears, and definitely the most underrated player in the NFL. No one gives him the credit that he's due to being a Bears receiver because it is tough and he does a pretty good job of it. So this weekend, it's going to be a battle of strengths and a battle of weaknesses, because you have the Bears offense going up against the Panthers defense, the two weaknesses, and then you have the Bears defense going up against the Panthers offense, the two strengths of both of these teams. So it's going to be a very good and interesting game. So that's my preview for this game. I think I'm going to go with the Bears winning. I just think that their offense will do enough to win them this game with the weakness of the Panthers defense. And I think that the Bears defense is going to step up when they need to against the Panthers offense, even though it is very, very good. So thank you for watching this video, guys. I appreciate it. This is a bit of a different video because it's more me talking about me personally. But thank you for watching. Like the video, comment, subscribe, and come back next time.